Hello and welcome. Today I'm in the Tier 7 US aircraft carrier the Saipan, and I am using these modules and commander skills. In this match I am against the Kaga, and I think it is very important to look at how the Kaga performs against the Saipan when evaluating how powerful the Kaga is, because the Saipan is essentially the king of Tier 7. And from what I've seen, I don't really think that this depends much upon how good the Kaga captain is, and instead it depends on how competent the Saipan captain is. That is, if the Saipan captain isn't very good, then the Kaga has a chance, but if the Saipan captain is on top of their game, then I don't really see what a Kaga can do, because the Saipan's fighters are just that incredibly powerful, and this match is essentially showing that. The problem is that this is going to weigh on the Kaga pretty much for her entire existence, because Wargaming doesn't seem to like nerfing premium ships, and the Saipan is a premium ship. Now, I don't think that Wargaming is likely to buff this Kaga in a significant way either, because the Kaga feels like a really strong ship, to be honest. But she just doesn't feel as strong as the Saipan, and well, that is going to be a huge issue for her, because carrier matchmaking is mirrored, and they are both the same tier, so they will meet each other all the time. And if you look at the other tier 7 carriers, you'll find the same issue for them. That is, they also have trouble versus Saipan, and it depends a lot on how good the Saipan captain is, rather how well the Hiryu or the Ranger captain performs. Okay, so this is a match on Haven, and I went and tried to strike a DD. I wasn't very successful, I only hit one of the torpedoes. But now the Kaga captain is coming in to try to strike our ships. This is a tier 5 to 7 match, so a lot is going to depend on how the both carriers on both teams perform. Because, tier 7 carriers against tier 5 ships are going to deal a lot of damage. And in the latest patch, we got the ability to... actually, it might not even be the latest anymore. So we recently just got the ability to strafe out of a fighter lock. And the Saipan has a special ability in this regard. That is, they can strafe out of a fighter lock without losing any planes. And so far, you see just how powerful this has been. The Kaga just cannot fight my fighters at all, and you have to remember that these are tier 9 fighters against tier 6 fighters, so it's not like the Kaga can really run away or do anything like that either. And I mean, look at this. I've shot down 19 planes, and I still haven't lost a single fighter yet. I haven't lost a single plane yet. And I've shot down 19 of the enemy carrier's planes. And remember that my planes are faster than her planes, which means that she can't exactly run away either if I catch them out. Now I will say though that the Saipan does not have as much strike power or alpha strike power as the Kaga does, and I think the Saipan doesn't have an easy time getting floodings either, because you only have a maximum of 3 torpedoes per torpedo bomber. However, I think the Saipan has an advantage that isn't often looked at, which is that the Saipan has small squadrons. And small squadrons have advantages many people don't quite realize. That is, for instance, the planes are spotted from a closer range than planes in bigger squadrons, and when the planes land on the ship, they recharge faster, and combine that with their speed, the Saipan is going to have an incredibly good time while dominating a game. Now, of course, right now, I can't interrupt this drop. One reason is that I actually misplayed a little bit. I spent too much time chasing that one fighter and then sent my planes to recharge. I should have either not chased the fighter, or I should have not gone to try to recharge. Or alternatively, as I did this game, maybe everything is right, and that König is just She just has to eat that strike salvo. Now, the dive bombers didn't seem to drop yet, so I will go in that direction and maybe I will be able to defend the König, but I don't really expect much. The next target for my torpedo bombers is going to be the Hiedo, and this is actually something you should also think about. That is, the Kaga has to pick targets that the Kaga can strike without me being able to completely interrupt their drop. Yet I can pick targets pretty much freely, and it doesn't really matter what the Kaga thinks or wants to do, because the my fighters are just that overpowering compared to hers. And the other thing is that my strike planes are so fast that the Kaga would have trouble trying to chase them down. I haven't actually compared the plane speeds. I don't know if the Kaga actually can outrun the that the Saipan strike planes can actually outrun the Kaga fighters. But I think that if you react early enough, you could at least get quite far away. Okay, so I think I just lost my first torpedo bomber in general, and look, the Kaga is going to try to interrupt this drop, and actually he was quite successful, or she, because I panicked a little bit and did the drop in a weird way. However, this does mean that the fighters are actually caught out, and because my fighters are faster, I am definitely able to, get some pretty good strafes in, and well, that's another 7 planes gone. And all he did was prolong the Hie's survival for like a minute, because she took 1 torpedo less. Although maybe even if that torpedo had hit, it would not have been enough. Okay, so at this point, if you look at the minimap, I think we as a team are in a pretty advantageous position in terms of the ship positioning. However, we are losing a lot of ships, and that is actually really, really bad news, because regardless how strong your carrier is, it's going to be very difficult to carry a match where your team just evaporates. And many match losses as a carrier do come down to that. But the carriers can do a lot of work in this regard. Okay, so we do have the caps advantage in a moment, and I am having a fighter hover over the kamikaze at a D. Now I do hope the kamikaze starts running away instead of YOLO charging in, because if the carrier decides that the kamikaze should be gone, I think that the kamikaze would actually go away. Now I wanted to drop on this DD, mostly because I just want to remove a lot of the enemy strength, at least if I can, and the other strike will be on the Belfast, because if I can hit the torpedo on the Belfast, well, that will also be good. Or alternatively, maybe it'll just make the... okay, yeah. I think the alternative would have been that the torpedo would have made the Belfast accelerate out of the smoke, which would have been also a good situation. And actually, I think we have pretty much stabilized the situation right now. They have 4 battleships, 1 DD, 1 carrier. We have 2 battleships, 1 cruiser, 2 DDs, and 1 carrier. And here I am again, using the fighter lock ability, the disengage from fighter lock. By the way, this is actually a pretty bad engagement with my fighters, because I am in the hood's anti-air, and I am at the closest range you can get to that anti-air. If that hood is smart, he should have used defensive fire here and pretty much cleared all of my planes. Now, it might very well be that the hood did use defensive fire, but because they are tier 9 planes, there's a lot of trouble killing them. However, I think that the hood didn't use defensive fire here. I think he is saving them for like torpedo bombers or something, but I'm not actually... okay, maybe I will strike the hood after all, because she is in an important position. And if we could remove that, that would be pretty good. Okay, so in this fight, you just saw that the Kaga actually did outplay me quite nicely, especially with the way the hood played. However, I still took out some of the planes, and I mean, it's not going to help this Gneisenau, because the Gneisenau doesn't apparently care about trying to win the game, because she is literally standing still while planes are striking her, so goodbye Gneisenau. However, you know, I am still doing my strikes at the same time too. And I will still try to pick off as many planes as I can. I mean, I've already taken out 31 planes, plus the planes the Kaga has lost to anti-airs, and the Kaga has 85 planes total. So it should actually be possible for me to deplane her at some point. Actually, no. You know, I might actually want to take that back, because we only have 2 DDs left. We have 2 destroyers and me, versus 1 carrier, 4 battleships, and 1 destroyer. Okay, so I'm gonna strike these 2 Congos, or he is, I guess. And what I will try to do is, I will try to get a flooding with the first torpedo bomber, and then a flooding with the second one, because these guys are both essentially full health. So I will need all the damage output I can get. And, you know, floodings are pretty good at that, especially ones that run out of control. Now I will say that I'm not actually that great at the torpedo bomber drops with the Saipan, as you just saw. I mean, I just missed a torpedo on a here. That's actually a pretty big mistake on a Saipan. However, you know, there will be better players with the Saipan, and they will dominate even more. Okay, so I do have to defend both of my destroyers soon. However, if we look at the Kamikaze at the decap, I think the Kamikaze is actually in a really bad position because of the Hood coming in, and there is also a New Mexico coming in from behind her. And I also have to keep in mind that the enemy Congos are actually getting closer and closer to me, which means that they are likely going to open fire at some point, so I need to run away from that as well. Now, I consider our Kamikaze already dead, so it's pretty much me and the T-22 that I should focus on. And the enemy team still has 4 battleships and a carrier left. So, yeah, I guess now it's time to step up my game, right? Okay, so I'm gonna run out of the fighter lock with a strafe, and every other carrier... Oh, if you didn't know, every other carrier loses a plane when they do this. When they get locked and then they try to strafe out. But the Saipan is a special exception, and she doesn't for some reason. And that actually gives her a lot of power, especially combined with the fact how strong her planes are and how much ammunition she has, etc. And I think that's actually a recent and rather major buff to her. I don't like what our T-22 is doing, because right now... Oh! Kamikaze actually took out the Hood. That's good. I guess I don't have to deal with the defensive fire battleship anymore. Okay, so I do need to still try to defend my carrier from planes, and it's not so much that I have to defend them from the torpedo bombers. I'm not really afraid of that. I'm mostly afraid of the fact that the torpedo bombers are going to spot me for both of the Congos, and I think both of them should be able to fire at me. And my other worry is the fact that our T-22 seems to be going to pick a fight with the enemy New Mexico. Now it's okay right now where the enemy carriers are focused on me. Okay, so I got a flooding, so I need another flooding with the 2nd squadron. While the enemy carrier is focused on me, you know, spotting, etc., things are going alright. However, the New Mexico is inside the decap, and I don't think that is actually alright anymore, because that means the New Mexico has a really easy shot on the T-22, and the carrier planes are obviously going to go and try to spot her as much as she can. So I flooded the here, and she's actually still flooding and taking significant damage. Well, okay, she isn't flooding anymore, but I need one follow-up, and I think if I can hit all 3 torpedoes, well, 2 because one of the planes got shot down, I should be able to... Oh my god, another one got shot down. What is this? This is some OP here and here. Please nerf Wargaming. Saipan is not supposed to lose any planes. Okay, so I will need 1 extra torpedo bomber squadron to finish this year off. And I'm actually surprised that the T-22 has survived for this long, especially since she doesn't appear to have used smoke. I will need to try to keep planes as far as I can from the T-22, and I really wish the T-22 turned her anti-air off, because anytime she gets... Oh my god, she just fired her guns. Rest in peace, T-22, you are so dead. That New Mexico is going to rip you a new one in a moment. Goodbye. Okay, well, I guess she's still alive. Oh, and there's clear skies. And think about how many planes I still have left. I mean, I have 9 fighters in reserve and 14 torpedo bombers. Okay, so next is gonna be a strike on this here. Oh, she healed up a little bit though. This is unfortunate, but come on, I should be able to deal with her, right? Oh my god, I think this missed some torpedoes again. Yeah, that was a bad drop. I should have hit at least 2. This was a big mistake. Okay, oh my god, the T-22 is still engaging the New Mexico. Stop it, please, stop it. All you had to do was run away. But now you're just playing with fire. Okay, at least you survived the dive bombers. That's at least good. But I really dislike what that T-22 is doing, because that guy is literally trying to, well, get himself killed. Or herself, I guess, since it's a ship. At least I have been able to remove all the planes from the, okay, never mind. The T-22 is gone. So now it's just me, the Saipan, against the Hia, New Mexico, another Hia, and the Kaga. And there's only 3 minutes 30 seconds left, and they have a points lead and they are capping. Well, there's one Hia gone. Now what I still need to do is I still need to keep the enemy battleship. Oh, never mind. And now all I need to do is keep the enemy planes off of my air detection range, because I'm not oh my god, the T-22 torpedoed the New Mexico. That's actually really good news, because that means I don't have to focus on her. And this might actually be a winnable game right now, because if I can kill the enemy here, then we should have the points lead, right? Because both teams are taking with 2 caps, and a battleship kill is gonna swing points by 100 points, right? So even if the enemy carrier is gonna enter the decap, which doesn't seem to be the case because I just spotted the decap. Oh my god, there's the planes. Please, here, don't delete me. She just fired her guns, so I manually turned my rudder to try to avoid as much as I can at least. But I don't think this is gonna hurt. Yep, 21,000 damage. Luckily though, I was near a border, so the Kaga strike actually whiffed a little bit, because you know you can't drop as close with if a ship is near the border. And honestly, I think that this moment of not paying enough attention to the planes could have actually cost me the game, because honestly, if those torpedo bombers had hit me, I would have been dead. But at this point I think it's fine. I should be able to defend myself against those torpedo bombers. And yeah, I mean, this here has 20,000 health left. Although there is only 1 minute 30 seconds to go, so if I screw this up too much, they will win the game, because I still need to get the kill to actually be ahead. Okay, I hit all 3 torpedoes, but they didn't get the flooding, and the here survived with 241 health. Also, the Kaga obviously has run out of fighter planes recently, or sorry, a long time ago. And I think actually the Hia made a mistake. The Hia should have gone the other way. The Hia should have tried to get closer and closer to me, because you know, I'm only at 13,000 health. If the Hia was able to get another shot on me, you know, that might actually end the game for me and kill me. Okay, so at this point, pretty much everything rests on this torpedo bomber strike. If I can hit at least 1 torpedo on the enemy here, I will win the game, I think. And if I fail, I think we're actually gonna lose, because I don't think I have enough time for another strike. So I'm gonna try to do a really safe strike from slightly further away than usual, because I only need 1 torpedo hit. Come on. Oh my god, I hit all 3 even. Okay. And there's the game. And that's a Kraken Unleashed, and one other medal is gonna come from this, which is going to be Solo Warrior. So yeah, I mean, look, the enemy team played really well, and I think the Kaga also played really well. It's just that the Saipan is that much stronger. I mean, I clear skied the Kaga in this game, and I barely lost planes while doing so. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest, I did get a really good game as well. This is a solo warrior. A solo warrior. Confederate Kraken unleashed 2 devastating strikes. A clear skies and a high caliber. 156,000 damage, 68 plane shot down, 24 plane kill, torpedo hits. Only 6 floodings though, so to be honest, if you watch the Kaga match and we're like, oh my god, you hit so many torpedoes but so few floodings, well, it seems like other carriers have the exact same problem anyway, so that doesn't seem to be unique to her. 2,451 base experience. I mean, I definitely carried my team, but that Kamikaze also played a really large role. I really feel bad for this Kaga though, because I do think that she played well. It's just that the Saipan holds all the advantages in this matchup, and I think the Saipan actually holds all the advantages in all the carrier matchups that she can play. And I actually heard from strangers that in their clan battles they tried a little bit of Saipan versus Shokaku, and the Saipan still was, I think, the ship that was favored. So the Saipan is just that strong, and I think that is going to negatively impact the value of Kaga. Which is sad, because I really like the Kaga. So here's my damage. Only 11,000 damage from floodings. Almost all of the damage was from direct torpedo strikes, and you can see I lost 8 fighters and 5 torpedo bombers. And I shot down 68 planes plus all the other strikes. Oh, and obviously since this is a premium ship, I made credits out the wazoo. Well, in closing, I would like to just say that I think the Kaga is a really strong and really fun carrier to play, but I just think that the Saipan is better. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, then like it, and I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Kablamo and Cheetah Freak, and I hope I see you guys next time.